believe that podcasters can be either, right? A podcaster can be a creator or they can be an influencer. And I love that you made the connection because I think often that does get missed.
Yeah.
That we love...
A lot of times people looked at podcasts as like, oh, that's radio, that's digital radio.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do I programmatically buy that?
Right. But we really get very connected to the hosts that we listen to. We feel like they're our friends. We feel like they're people that we want to turn to.
Yeah, people spend 2 to 3 hours with them every night while they're driving around in their car. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So there is really so much power in that connection between the listener and the host. And I think that makes that host a person of real influence.
That's awesome. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast. I am here with Heather Osgood, who's the CEO of True Native Media, and we're broadcasting to you from the Possible Show in beautiful Miami, Florida. Heather, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm excited to be here at this event. It's amazing.
Yeah, pretty fun, right?
Yeah, it's like so crowded. I can't believe how many people there are here.
Yeah, they definitely squeeze it all into a tight geography.
Yeah.
Not like, Cannes is a little bit more spread out, obviously, but yeah, it's a good scene.
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself. Tell us about True Native Media. What are you guys up to this week?
Yeah, so True Native Media is a podcast representation firm.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, we love podcasting. We work with about 200 independent creators, and our role is to connect them with advertisers. So we're here talking to brands about the power of podcast advertising.
Nice. So kind of like an influencer agency, but for podcasts specifically?
Exactly.
So talent management.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So obviously podcasts have exploded. I think YouTube now is actually the largest source of podcast views, even above Spotify. 75% of all podcast streams, if you will, are video now. Be curious if that transition got you guys into the world of creator market. Like, is there a difference between a creator, a podcaster, an influencer, or is it all kind of fluid at this point?
That is such a great question. So we just had lunch with a group of women who are part of a fellowship through the Ad Council. I think it was the Ad Council. And we were talking about the differences between influencers and creators. And one of the things that they said that I thought was so fascinating is that a creator is really a storyteller, and an influencer is someone that is really looking to get into something to really promote a brand or to sell a product. I think that a lot of younger people are really kind of jaded by this idea that someone wants to be an influencer and wants to push products toward them, where a creator is someone who does have that authenticity and is coming with their genuine story and wants to share that story. And I believe that podcasters can be either, right? A podcaster can be a creator or they can be an influencer. And I love that you made the connection because I think often that does get missed.
Yeah.
That we love...
A lot of times people looked at podcasts as like, oh, that's radio, that's digital radio.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do I programmatically buy that?
Right. But we really get very connected to the hosts that we listen to. We feel like they're our friends. We feel like they're people that we want to turn to.
Yeah, people spend 2 to 3 hours with them every night while they're driving around in their car. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So there is really so much power in that connection between the listener and the host. And I think that makes that host a person of real influence.
That's awesome. Are you guys thinking about the idea of helping brands figure out their own podcasting strategy? I know, brands want to be able to have their owned and operated media channels, and they want to act like publishers. And a lot of brands are partnering with creators to launch their own podcasts, using creators or influencers or podcasters as co-hosts or talent that show up in their channels. Is that something you guys are thinking about?
That isn't something that True Native Media is thinking about. We definitely, I see the power in that, and a lot of brands do want their own channel. My mission, there's millions of podcasts out there now, so my mission is how do we take the audiences that are already created and really monetize those, right? Your podcast, for instance, obviously, I'm sure you've got, thousands of people, who have listened to your show over the years, maybe even millions, I don't know.
Yeah.
And really, how can we help help that person actually monetize it. So where there, of course, is a place for brand podcast, I think that there's a lot of power in connecting with the audience that's already there.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of podcasts from a monetization perspective seem to like, I see more often podcasters have their own brands versus partnering with others. Obviously, there's opportunities for that, but podcasts uniquely, especially big ones like Jocko Willink or Sean Ryan or some of these guys, like they launch supplement brands or water brands or kind of things that are easy to, to private label, stuff that's kind of low-hanging fruit. I think part of that is they want to feel like they are not shilling products. They're like, selling their audience something that actually benefits them and that they can truly endorse so much from the perspective that they're putting their name on it. Do you ever think about that as a monetization strategy, helping your clients develop their own brands that they can sell to their audience, or is it more brand partnerships?
So we really focus on the brand partnerships. We recently started working with Dave Asprey in the Human Upgrade, and he does have his own supplement line. I think that you're spot on, right? When someone reaches a pinnacle, it makes sense for them to go ahead and develop a product that they do feel like they can 100% get behind. We used to work with JJ Virgin. She's got a whole product line, right? And yeah, I think that there's definitely power in creating your own products, but it depends on where you're at in your journey, right? Like you're talking about like the pinnacle of the creator economy, and not everyone is there, and often people really just want to be able to create the content that they're passionate about and aren't necessarily into getting into the product game. They would rather promote a product they feel like they can get behind that already exists.
Love it. Do you think of your guys as a network? Like, can a brand come in and buy across the entire audience, or is it really facilitating, individual deals that are kind of coming inbound to the creator as a management company? Like, or can people buy the network essentially, like back in the MCN days, or some podcast networks? They either bring talent in on a rev share, or they actually give them a minimum guarantee, and then they own their ad sales and their inventory. Like, how are you thinking about the economics?
Sure. So we do own that exclusive, right to sell that content. So we have all of our shows under contract to do that. And you can, as an advertiser, purchase the content in several different ways. So we do specialize in that host-read ad where we're selling it on a show-by-show basis.
Yeah, that more authentic than like a pre-roll ad, because they're actually like talking about it. A lot of times they're ad-libbing, like, here's how I actually use it, and I like it, and it gives it more creative freedom. And
exactly.
I find myself, it's harder to skip podcast, host reads. You can fast forward if you want, but YouTube pre-rolls, you can just hit the button and skip it very easily, and it's not endemic to the host either.
Right. We named the company True Native Media because really podcast ads are native, right? They are content just like the podcast itself is content. So we really get behind the power of the host read ad, but an advertiser can also buy run of network. So if we've got an advertiser that says, hey, like, we're really into scale, while this podcast is great, we feel like we want to layer in a run of network campaign, that works really well. We also do programmatic insertion. So from a programmatic perspective, then really we are just looking at how are we targeting this campaign? Are we targeting the right people? Are we targeting the right geographics? We can do contextual targeting. So there are lots of layers that we can add in, but we kind of think of it as additive, right? So like, you're going to start with that host read ad, you're going to add in maybe run of network or programmatic to support what you're doing.
Podcasts have become a really great opportunity for production days for brands as well. Are you giving your advertisers the right to take that host read and then use that as a syndicated opportunity to appear in other ad formats like CTV or traditional TV, or even in social is a great place for clips to show up? Are you thinking about it like as a production day as well?
Yeah, we definitely sell UGC rights, so there's opportunity for them to take that. We haven't had brands who have taken it to the next level, but I mean, there's so much that you can do with these creators, and our job at True Native is how can we make that easier? Because as a brand trying to, come up with wrangling 200 creators to, come up with something meaningful is really difficult. So our job is to really ease that process and work with brands to come up with creative concepts. And often case, we can create really interesting things if a brand is interested in doing it.
That's cool. I saw this new technology that basically takes finished podcast episodes, and if they hadn't done like a host read, or if there wasn't already a sponsor who was like product placement on the table, they can literally like run it through AI and drop products on the table or somewhere in the
crazy.
set,
Yeah, that
or
does
like
not
put up a
surprise
poster
me.
on the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
What do you think about technology like that? Do you think that is an interesting way to monetize, or do you think that's too sketchy, too fast on the AI side?
No, I don't think it's sketchy or too fast. I think bring it on. No, I mean, the reality is that if we can use technology to create more polished and integrated products, like, let's do it. Yeah.
That's very fun. All right, so tell us about your possible experience. Obviously, I use podcasting or interviews as an opportunity to meet people and to drive value for my sponsors at events. Do you guys sell podcast activations as a experiential offering where, hey, this person can come to your event or your trade show or your conference, or more importantly, the way that you're showing up in culture, like the Super Bowl or F1, in a way to like draw fan engagement, but also bring in, other interesting people that might be at that event? Like, are you thinking about podcasting as a extension of experiential marketing, experiential activations?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have several hosts who have gone on tours and gone out on the road. We've had hosts that have partnered with brands and come to their events and done recordings or given presentations. So yeah, all of that, I think there's a possibility, to create really strong alignment. The live show is definitely becoming, I don't even know if becoming is the right word. I mean, live shows for podcasts are something that they really like doing, and it takes the podcast to the next level, right? Like, one of the hardest part about podcasting is that it is one-sided, right? It's like, you don't, like, no one's commenting right now as we're recording this not live, right? Like, so it's like a one-way conversation, and you have to take that conversation either to a different platform, or you have to take the conversation to a live event to be able to really engage with your audience.
To have interactivity.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of hosts that like to do that, and if that includes wrapping in a brand to help get the brand message out there, or if that includes going into a brand's activation and bringing their audience along with them, many hosts would love to do that.
Very cool. Well, exciting world, always evolving in the podcast ecosystem, something that I obviously pay close attention to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if folks want to connect with you or follow your thought leadership, where would you like to send the audience to learn more about what you're up to?
Yeah, absolutely. So truenativemedia.com is our website. I personally am really active on LinkedIn, so would love to have you follow me there. And I have my own podcast, believe it or not.
I believe it.
It's called the Podcast to Advertising Playbook. So in that show, I interview industry leaders in the podcast space. I interview brands, and we talk about really how to make podcast advertising successful.
Love it. Very smart.
So, yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.